Chemical reactions and equations form the basis of understanding how substances change and interact with each other. A chemical reaction is a process in which one or more substances, called reactants, are converted into new substances, called products, with different properties. A chemical equation is a symbolic representation of a chemical reaction using chemical formulas. In a chemical equation, the reactants are written on the left-hand side and the products on the right-hand side, separated by an arrow. For example, when magnesium reacts with oxygen, it forms magnesium oxide, which can be written as Mg plus O2 right-pointing arrow magnesium oxide. For a chemical equation to be correct, it must be balanced according to the law of conservation of mass. This law states that mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Therefore, the number of atoms of each element must be equal on both sides of the equation. For example, the balanced equation for the formation of magnesium oxide is 2 megagrams plus O2 right-pointing arrow 2 MgO. Chemical reactions can be identified by certain observable changes. These include change in color, change in temperature, evolution of gas, formation of a precipitate, and change in state. For example, when zinc reacts with hydrochloric acid, hydrogen gas is released, and the reaction can be written as zinc plus 2HCl right-pointing arrow zinc chloride plus H2. There are different types of chemical reactions. A combination reaction is one in which two or more substances combine to form a single product. For example, Ca plus H2O right-pointing arrow calcium hydroxide. A decomposition reaction is the opposite, where a single compound breaks down into two or more simpler substances. For example, calcium carbonate right-pointing arrow Ca plus carbon dioxide. A displacement reaction occurs when a more reactive element displaces a less reactive element from its compound. For example, Fe plus copper 2 sulfate right-pointing arrow iron 2 sulfate plus Cu. A double displacement reaction involves the exchange of ions between two compounds, often resulting in the formation of a precipitate. For example, sodium sulfate plus barium chloride right-pointing arrow barium sulfate plus 2NaCl. Oxidation and reduction are important concepts in chemical reactions. Oxidation is the addition of oxygen or the loss of hydrogen, while reduction is the removal of oxygen or the addition of hydrogen. A reaction in which oxidation and reduction occur simultaneously is called a redox reaction. For example, CuO plus H2 right-pointing arrow Cu plus hydrogen oxide, where copper oxide is reduced and hydrogen is oxidized. Corrosion is a process in which metals are slowly damaged by reaction with air, moisture, or chemicals. Rusting of iron is a common example, where iron reacts with oxygen and water to form hydrated iron oxide. This process weakens the metal over time. Rancidity is the oxidation of fats and oils in food, which leads to unpleasant smell and taste. It can be prevented by storing food in airtight containers, refrigeration, or by adding antioxidants. In conclusion, chemical reactions involve the transformation of substances and are represented by balanced chemical equations. Understanding different types of reactions, balancing equations, and concepts like oxidation and reduction is essential for studying chemistry and its applications in daily life.